We are very delighted at the Alexandria Library to have you here with us for our afternoon with our lovely Poet Laureate, Zeina Azzam. You can't... Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to Diane Ruggiero from the Office of the Arts. She's going to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming this afternoon. Happy National Poetry Month. So we're still enjoying that. So my name is Diane Ruggiero. I'm with the City of Alexandria and the Office of the Arts. And we are, I guess, the proud sponsors of our Poet Laureate program. We've been doing it for quite some time. Zeina serves as our 7th Poet Laureate. And I think I always tell the story, about this program. When I first came to Alexandria 12 and a half years ago, we were in the midst of selecting a Poet Laureate then, and I was kind of wondering, do we really have enough people, enough poets in Alexandria to kind of get interested in this? And I have been amazed every year at the talent of the residents here in Alexandria and their love of poetry, for how many people apply to be the Poet Laureate, how many people participate in our Dashing Words programs and things like that. So it is really a joy to be in a city where there are so many people with such a love and appreciation of literature, writing, and specifically in this case, poetry. But I do want to thank Zeina for her past 3 years as Poet Laureate. It has been an amazing honor to work with her and to, just have her be part of our city and commemorating so many different events along the way. During her time, she got to help us celebrate Alexandria's 275th birthday, so there will not be another Poet Laureate who can do that. She will hold that honor. She also helped us commemorate the 50th anniversary of Torpedo Factory Art Center, and just so many other moments in our city that are recognized now with poems by Zeina. So a huge thank you to Zeina for all of that. We will be welcoming our new Poet Laureate, So today is about Zeina and saying thank you to Zeina. But we will also have a new Poet Laureate. So when you get a chance, we will have a party for Christy when she begins her reign as Poet Laureate. But thank you so much, Zeina. Like I said, it has been wonderful to get to know you and to work with you. And I hope that we continue to get to work together in the future. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Diane. Now I would like to introduce Gretchen Bulova from the Office of Historic Alexandria to say a few words.
Thank you. It's really quite an honor to be here to celebrate Zeina today. She has been a special part of the Office of Historic Alexandria as well as the Office on the Arts. And having poetry as part of our history programming has been an amazing experience for us. The last 3 years, we have done so many commemorations and so many recognitions, but our focus on social justice has really been the guiding force of our department and many initiatives within the city. And Zeina has been an amazing part of that. She helped us remember, acknowledge the lynchings of Joseph McCoy and Benjamin Thomas. She was part of the soil collection where she actually went to the sites and helped collect the dirt that reflect the moments in Thomas and McCoy's life as inspiration for a poem. I mean, to me, that is just amazing and breathtaking. Along with all the social justice and kind of that hard work of trying to remember the lives of these 2 lynching victims, she's also helped us celebrate. She's helped us celebrate the 10th anniversary of the dedication of Freedman Cemetery on Washington Street. And for us, that poem resonated so deeply with the descendant community that we had to quickly get her poem and send it out to everybody because they could not wait one more second. They wanted a copy to reflect themselves. And I also have to say, she helped us launch the opening of Freedom House on Juneteenth in 2022. This was a very special day for all of us in the community, especially Historic Alexandria, as we were able to open the doors with new exhibitions to help tell the story of Alexandria's role in the domestic slave trade, but to give voice to those who were trafficked through Alexandria to the deep South slave markets. Now, all of this is very tough work. And as we go through remembrances with history, adding that poetry component, as I said, has just elevated our remembrance ceremonies. And I just can't thank you enough for just the thoughtfulness and for always saying yes. She had many opportunities to say, no, you didn't quite give me enough time, or it's a really busy weekend. But she always makes time for us, and for that I am truly appreciative. And as a small way of saying thank you, we partnered in our department with the Office on the Arts to create a booklet of all the poems that Zeina has done for our department. This is such a stunning photo. It's just incredible. And the photos in here were taken at events, the background that goes into Zeina's context for her poem and her inspiration. I hope all of you will take one of these home, read it cover to cover, bring it out when you're having a bad day and a good day too. But please make sure you take one of these as well. So again, help me thank Zeina for just being herself.
Thank you for that. We have Councilman Alube here to give some remarks for, if you want to come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me, and Zeina, congratulations, and thank you so much for everything you did. I'm honored that you asked me to say a few words, and I thought about what I would say. I thought about, I'll just share some of the things Zeina and I have been through together since I've known her, just to tell you the person, the human being, the amazing human being that Zeina is, who has given so much to our city, not just as a poet laureate, but as an activist who has been advocating for human rights and marginalized communities here in Alexandria. So I got to know Zeina through Grassroots Alexandria back in 2017 when I first got involved with Grassroots Alexandria. I was scared, sad, confused, didn't know what to do because Trump had just taken office. And one of the first things he did was ban Muslims from the United States. And as a Muslim, someone who identifies as Muslim, raising Muslim kids, I really didn't know what to do. I got involved with the Alexandria Democratic Committee, but I also got involved with Grassroots Alexandria. That's how I met Zeina. We would meet at her house. I see Sharon would be there, Jonathan, some of the old guard here. And we took up several projects to advocate for the most vulnerable communities in Alexandria. Some of the things we've worked on was restorative practices in Alexandria City public schools. We worked on police data transparency. That's still ongoing, by the way. We're going to vote on that in the next city council meeting, so that's coming back. That has been an ongoing effort, but the fruits of it still coming. And one of my favorite things that Zeina would make was that lemon mint. She was always a great host, and she would have cookies, and she would bake cakes, and have that lemon mint for us. So these were really good memories. The other thing that Zeina was involved in and that we worked on together was the Arabic American Heritage Month City Council declaration. We did that last year. It was the first year. Zeina's the one who brought it to my attention, actually, and she actually did all the work. I didn't do anything. She was emailing the mayor and his aide, and she got the proclamation on the docket, and we were able to get that last year. And this year, again, same thing. She emailed me and she reminded me, and we worked on it together, and hopefully this month we will be having that proclamation proclaiming April as Arabic American Heritage Month here in Alexandria. And I think the way Zeina approached that really, as an Arab American, and the way she is proud of our heritage, and the way she tries to showcase it, and the way she tries to use that to build bridges and to fight the hate, discrimination that we sometimes see, just by being that human being who really cares about everyone, who treats everyone with kindness and respect. Even when times are hard, even when times are tough, she sticks to her values and to her character, and that really speaks volumes about Zeina. So, and honestly, so Zeina became Poet Laureate probably right around the time that I also got elected to school board, and for me, as an Arab American, there are not too many Arab Americans in government here in Alexandria or in public service. So to have another Arab American, prominent personality in Alexandria, it was a big deal. So that is also something that was very special of having Zeina as the Poet Laureate here in Alexandria. So Zeina, thank you so much for your service to our city. Thank you so much for everything you do. I'm sure you're going to continue to be a shining light in our city. Even after you're not the Poet Laureate anymore. And thank you so much for inviting me. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you for that. So now it's time to introduce Zeina. I'm going to give you a little bit about her background. Zeina Azzam is a Palestinian-American poet, writer, editor, and community activist. She has been serving as the Poet Laureate of the City of Alexandria since 2022 and will finish her term at the end of this month. Zeina's poems and writings appear in many literary journals, with magazines, anthologies, and edited volumes. She has been nominated twice for a Pushcart Prize. Her chapbook, Beina Beina, In Between, was published in 2021 by the Poetry Box, and her poetry collection, Some Things Never Leave You, was released in 2023 by Tiger Bark Press. Before being named Poet Laureate, Zeina worked as the publication editor for the Arab Center Washington, a Middle East think tank in DC. Her professional experience also includes 27 years at Georgetown University's Center for Contemporary Arab Studies, where she developed and directed a nationally recognized educational outreach program about the Arab world and Islam for K-12 teachers. She is a mentor for We Are Not Numbers, a writing program for youth in Gaza, and currently serves as the poetry editor for the organization. Zeina volunteers with Grassroots Alexandria, a local group that advocates for the civil rights of vulnerable communities in Alexandria. She also volunteers and serves as a board member for organizations that support Palestinian development and human rights. Zeina's educational background includes an MA in Arabic literature from Georgetown University, an MA in sociology from George Mason University, and a BA in psychology from Vassar College. Please welcome Zeina.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for this introduction and for hosting us at Beatley, our lovely central library here in Alexandria. Can you hear me in the back? I truly appreciate all the thoughtful arrangements you and the staff made to gather us in this welcoming space. I have partnered with Alexandria Libraries for several times, actually, over the last few years, and workshops and readings, and it's been a beautiful experience. Indeed, I have so much gratitude to convey. Thank you all for coming to celebrate together my tenure as Poet Laureate of Alexandria. I'm a little overcome, and I'm so excited to be here. And to see all of you. I want each one of you to know how much your presence means to me today. I'm so happy to have many members of my immediate family here, including my brother Fateh and sister-in-law who came. They drove from Maine to be here with me. And my children, Mark, and my daughter-in-law, Hillary, and Hillary's mom, Claudia, and last but not least, my daughter Lena and her two little ones who are here. I see Artie and Jed, my two grandsons. So happy you're all here. Of course, there are all many wonderful poets here today as well, especially Ethelbert Miller. Ethelbert, can you raise your hand? And his lovely wife, Denise. Ethelbert has been a kind of a mentor to me all these years, and before I became Poet Laureate, and I appreciate your being here with us. I'd like to also recognize my successor, the new Alexandria Poet Laureate, Christy Donoso. Christy, can you stand up? Where are you? There she is. So thank you so much for coming today to celebrate with me. Is Wendy Kaplan here? I think she said she was coming. She was one of the former Poets Laureate, but maybe she's not here. Anyway. So thank you to my family members, to my friends, to my fellow activists, to librarians and teachers and administrators and students and everyone who has helped make this city home to me. I'm also thrilled to see people representing organizations that are non-city government affiliated who have asked me to write poems over the last few years. I'm delighted that they're with us here. I think there were two teachers who said they were coming, Ms. Buba, Jolita Gill, and Ms. Buba. Please stand up. Thank you so much for coming. From Hammond Middle School and from the International Academy, we worked together with the students, and it was such a meaningful experience. I'd also like to recognize, of course, the City Council member, Abdurrahman Anubi. So lovely to have you. Thank you for your beautiful words. I'm really moved that you came and that you wanted to speak and that we've had such a great experience together, and I look forward to more. Is Kanik Aguirre here? He said he might come, so maybe he'll come in a little bit, another City Council member. You all just truly honor me with your presence and your kind words and your support over many years I've known you. The Alexandria Office of the Arts has been my professional home, and I've felt very supported over these years. Hearty thanks to the director, Diane Ruggiero, for your wonderful words today and for your encouragement all this time. And lots of gratitude to Cheryl Ann Colton, who's been most generous with her time and her advice. Cheryl Ann, I've enjoyed working with you, and I appreciate all you've done to facilitate my work as Poet Laureate. So thank you, Lisa. I'd like applause for Cheryl Ann and for Diane. I've also enjoyed working with Daniel Guzman, who can't be with us today, and he's from the Office of the Arts as well. And he's the one who organizes all the huge events for the city, especially the birthday celebrations by the river and the jazz festivals, which have been some of my favorite events to participate in. And gratitude also to the Literary Task Force. As part of the Office of the Arts, they played a big role in moving Alexandria's literary programs forward. And of course, the Office of Historic Alexandria is another one that has formed a significant part of my activities as Poet Laureate. The city's historic commemorations are so meaningful, and it's been such an honor to write poems for and participate in some of them. Working with director Gretchen Bulova has been a privilege, and I'm so grateful that she led the publication of the book that gathered my Alexandria poems. Thank you so much, Gretchen, for granting me this amazing memento of my time as Poet Laureate. I will always treasure it. It has been such an honor to be serving as Alexandria's Poet Laureate. I learned a great deal about the history and about the diverse cultures of Alexandria. And I feel immense pride that Alexandria places a high priority on poetry and on all the arts. During this time, I've grown as a poet, especially as I've created verse for a variety of occasions. I discovered a poetic voice within me that emerged after doing research and finding inspiration to write these original poems. This is a distinct and at times challenging type of poetry, one that's also rich and holds much gravity. So I'm going to now read 5 poems that I wrote for Alexandria to give you a taste of the different subjects I've been asked to write about. The first one is titled, Like the Trees in Alexandria. And interestingly, I actually wrote this poem as part of my application as to be Poet Laureate. We were asked to write a poem that features the diversity of our city. And so I liken our relationships with each other to the community of trees and their nurturing root systems. So here I imagine our community as trees standing tall next to each other, all different and all beautiful and all working together to uplift justice and equality. And I also read this poem at the Alexandria birthday celebration in 2022. Like the trees in Alexandria, the soil we stand on is packed with the history of growth, the biology of perseverance, as fertile and deep as our affinities to each other. This is where we start. It took us thousands of years to understand the community of trees in a forest, to listen to the way roots intertwine, communicate in safety underground. This is our language too, of carbon and nitrogen and phosphorus, as we construct infinite, unseen pathways to share nutrients and water, stories and poetry and songs. These are our common roots. We are the trees of the forest, leafy and floral, coniferous, with flashy crowns or simple beauty. So many shades of green and brown, hues of loveliness. This diversity is our touchstone. Cypress, juniper, and palm, jasmine, and jacaranda, many have traveled the world as flying seeds to land and regather and celebrate our homecoming. This is who we are. Our root systems teach us to behave as a single organism, to uplift all branches, young and old, she and he and they, watering and nourishing each other, safeguarding saplings against injustice. This is our present and our legacy. We are the trees in Alexandria's forest. Thank you. I neglected to say Happy National Poetry Month. And of course, as Abdel and Nubi said, this is also Arab American Heritage Month, so happy that month too. And also, it's Jazz Appreciation Month. So we have a lot to celebrate this April. And as I mentioned earlier, the city has been holding an annual Jazz Fest for decades now, and this will be our 47th year. And I'd like to just say that we have among us John Hassey. John, can you raise your hand? John Hassey is a biographer of Duke Ellington, and he's the founder of Smithsonian Jazz Masterworks Orchestra. And I think you started Jazz Appreciation Month as well, so it's so nice to have you. So I'm going to read a poem about jazz. So I wrote, in 2022, I wrote about Duke Ellington, who, as you know, is one of the greats of jazz. He hailed from Washington, D.C., and would often come across the river to play at Virginia society balls. Ellington had an intriguing condition called synesthesia, which some people describe as almost a sixth sense. Synesthesia is when you experience one of your senses through another, and so for Duke Ellington, he would see colors when he would hear sounds, which is really quite amazing. Duke Ellington's synesthesia. You heard notes as colors, ears and eyes coupled like thunder with lightning, a bird's song together with its vibrant plumage. The band was your artist's palette. You painted sounds and found harmonies in an azure mood, singing about your solitude. When DC erupted with white on black attacks in the red summer of 1919, did you turn to the ivories for solace? Did your fingers touch and see the bluest of blues? Were you starting to understand the hues in Black history, from black to brown to beige? Were these bold words you wrote decades later beginning to tint your mind? Lord, dear Lord, I've loved, God Almighty, God up above. Please look down and see my people through. A colorful school of the arts and a bridge in Washington, D.C. were named after you, but it was 25 years after you died that they gave you the Pulitzer Prize, setting aside the satin doll and the A train to Harlem, your indigo mood, and all those things that don't mean a thing if they ain't got that swing. I imagine you somewhere in the stars with Billy Strayhorn and Johnny Hodges, Mahalia Jackson and Ella Fitzgerald, making music like old times. You composing in the violet rays of the galaxy, hearing the shimmering caravans of poets, hearing the shimmering caravans of comets, and fashioning their iridescence into vivid ballads, syncopated light. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening and engaging and smiling, and you're such a beautiful audience. I have had the privilege to contribute a poem for the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial event. For the 2024 program, my thoughts turn to the many wars raging on our planet today. In Sudan, Yemen, Ukraine, Gaza, Myanmar, and others. I noted before I read the poem that as the Vietnam War raged during this time, Dr. King was vocal as a strong opponent of the war. He was criticized because he linked the war and militarism to racism and to diminish civil rights at home. In a 1967 speech titled Beyond Vietnam, A Time to Break the Silence, Dr. King courageously offered empathy to those suffering in Vietnam itself. He preached nonviolence and compassion as principles to practice at home and globally. He admonished us not to stay silent and to be vocal about opposing war as a moral imperative. Ultimately, it's nonviolence and compassion that are the harbingers of love and hope. And in that spirit, I offered a poem that looks for life and love and hope during and after war. Death in war. After the headlines, the photographs of still bodies in utter surrender, the stacking and burying in unmarked graves. Don't turn away. Say a prayer for each farmer, teacher, bearded grandfather on a cane, mother whose scarf flies in the air, father staring at the ground. Think of the empty chairs at the dinner table, the shirt and socks missing from the clothesline. Remember each pair of hands that opened and closed, held a pencil, clapped with joy. And when the wheat and flowers they sowed reach toward the sun, bring water to these tenacious flags of presence on the land. Thank you. I'd like to read the poem that Gretchen Belova mentioned. I wrote this poem when the city held the 10th anniversary celebration of Alexandria's Contrabands and Freedmen's Cemetery Memorial in September 2024. This is a sacred site that honors the more than 1,700 people of African descent buried here during and immediately following the Civil War. Creating this memorial was one of the milestones of our community's collective efforts to elevate the experiences of our ancestors and ensure that they are resting in peace and dignity. Crossing to Sanctuary, Alexandria's Contrabands and Freedmen's Cemetery. On this hallowed ground, grieving families and friends marked resting places for their beloveds with wooden grave markers. They adorned the graves with oyster shells that spoke of the sea and eternal life. So many coffins held children. They lay in wooden boxes, elongated hexagons that reminded where the small heads and shoulders reposed, the funerary crate tapering at legs and feet. The Earth Mother around them continues to offer hidden and untold stories about simple buttons and nails and Civil War bullets to reveal shards of everyday life, even old stone tools. We stand on this earth knowing that although our ancestors' remains now lie undisturbed, their lives suffered a dark history. It was a time when shackling Black bodies was the law of the land, when segregation and racial discrimination, poll taxes and literacy tests, Jim Crow and white supremacy were everywhere, the air everyone breathed. But despite the hundreds of years that enslaved flesh and bones and minds, these ancestors, willful and bold, could finally cross to sanctuary. Exhausted and weak and thin, they crossed to sanctuary even if many took their last breaths after the passage to freedom. We ask for their forgiveness, for the villainy of generations past, for those who desecrated their graves, for the unfathomable sorrow of their descendants, for the continuing injustices, for all who suffer because the powerful persist in pushing them to the powerless margins. We now come to them in reverence and awe. Rest in peace, our ancestors. Rest knowing that you were an early light, navigating a path of thorns to roses through this archway in today's Alexandria. Our city mourns and grieves, remembers, reconsecrates, and lifts up your lives. Rest in peace, our ancestors. Rest in power, rest in justice, rest in dignity, rest in truth, rest in freedom. Thank you so much. I'm going to read my last poem now, and I will note before reading it that it was my good fortune to serve as Poet Laureate when Alexandria celebrated its 275th birthday in 2024. This was quite a milestone for our city. A few lines in this poem include inside jokes that only people who live here will get, so I'm happy to explain them later to those of you who don't live here. When I read this poem, or actually when I wrote this poem, I said that I tried to bring all of us into it. I wanted everyone in Alexandria to feel that it reflects our shared history and community, and that it celebrates many of our diverse identities and sentiments and experiences. We are Alexandria, the people's poem. We are the sun, the clouds, the trees, and the river. We are the air and the currents that swirl all around. We are the history remembered, now faced, always felt. We fight for our rights. We stand our ground. Our river's waters run deep, full of languages and stories. We are the hulls of slave ships, some sunken, some buried in the earth. We are the human cargo in chains that built this historic city. We embody 275 years of both struggle and rebirth. We are the indigenous peoples, the Dogue and Algonquian-speaking Indians. We've seen colonial times, civil war and Jim Crow, lynchings, the movement for Black lives, and more. We were once a port for commerce, transporting tobacco on the Potomac, a railroad center for the Union, a torpedo factory in the Second World War. Now we're the West End and the waterfront, Old Town, Chirilagua and Del Rey, Northridge, Rosemont and Potomac Yard, Carlisle, Eisenhower and Parker Gray. We look up to the Masonic Memorial. We walk streets with royal names. These 15.75 square miles are where we live, work, study, dream, and play. We question and probe. We stand up and raise our fists against discrimination and oppression in the world and in our midst. We understand the connections among all struggles and just causes to end wars and protect the vulnerable. We persist. We persist. We are the L and the G and B and T and Q in LGBTQ+. We celebrate children and seniors, men and women, trans folks, all. We are citizens, green card holders, immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers. We found our home as a community. We pick each other up if one of us falls. We are the interstellar influencer, the 35 million year asteroid that birthed the Chesapeake Bay. We've been known to declare our love with a towering hot pink neon sign. Heavy rains visit us each year, flooding pipes to push sewage into the river. So we brought a massive drill and called it Hazel. to dig tunnels and make the water fine. We love pupusas, potato latkes, sushi, biryani, steamed momos, kimchi, and kebab. We use pita, injera, and chopsticks to savor our national foods. We play caberos, djembes, rubabs, and congas, sing gospel, spirituals, and sambas. We bagpipe, dance cumbia and dubke, swing to jazz, move to rock, punk, and blues. We're people on boats, bridges, parkways, paved and cobblestone streets. Find us in wheelchairs and cars, on buses, bikes, metro, and trains. Our diverse city is a rock with striations, a rainbow, a fabric of many colors. We're united by living and giving, a search for meaning that never wanes. We are guided by compassion. We insist on truth, equity. These fundamental principles in our city are everyone's birthright. We rise in the east with the sun and moon, continue on their journey, on the arc that bends across the sky, toward justice, wisdom, and light. That's it, that's the poem. Thank you again for coming, for listening, for engaging, for supporting me, supporting the arts in Alexandria, supporting poetry. I'm just filled with so much gratitude and joy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So Zeina wanted to take this opportunity to let you guys participate. If you have a poem you'd like to share, or an observation, an experience you've shared with her, or about Alexandria that you'd like a moment to talk about, we've set aside a few minutes to do that. So raise your hand and I'll bring you the mic. Ah.
I wrote this for Zeina. Zeina and I share poems in Arabic and English. So I wrote this for her. So the Arabic word for days is ayam. We are the days. Ayam, 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 I am. I am the days. Ana al-ayam, I am the ways. Ana as-sabl. I am today the day, al-yom ana al-yom. I am today the way, al-yom ana as-sabil. I am today to say, sa'akul al-yom. She is the day, she is the way, she comes to say that the world is our neighbor. Today, that we are the days, that we are the ways, that we are who stays when we are needed. We are the others, nahnu al-akharun. We are the mothers, nahnu al-ummahat. We are the brothers, nahnu al-ikawa. We are each other's, nahnu ba'adan al-ba'd. Neighbors in times of need, jiran fi al-qat al-haja. For as the fires of our neighbors are our hell, niran jiranana hiya jahimana. And the sky of our neighbors is our heaven, Sama Chiranana Hiya Jannatana. So too then the poet of our world is our treasure, our neighbor, our friend. Sha'ara fi alimina hiya kunzana jaratana sadikatana. And so, in so many days, in so many ways, she shared her gifts with us. And so we thank her now for her generosity and wish her prosperity, solidarity, and peace. Aricha tadam and wassalam.
is Fateh. I'm Zeina's brother. When we were very young, all these decades ago, I never thought that my younger sister would become my teacher in humanity. We're living in a very, very difficult moment of history in this country. It's a history that is attempting right now to create divisiveness, hatred, division, and the messages that come through Zeina's poetry all the time is a confrontation to that. It is a message that says, we are together, we are in this thing together. There is no difference between us. So we hope we would all take inspiration from Zeina's poetry to confront the hateful time we are living in, to say no, and to gain the strength to keep going and keep finding each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And in that vein, I just want to say I've known Zeina for just a little over a year now, and has been just one of the most incredibly enriching relationships in my life. Zeina is a founding member of Alexandria for Palestinian Human Rights, has been a huge, huge pillar for our community and for everything that we do. And at many of our vigils, many of our events, she has grounded us in reality with her words. And so I just wanted to share my favorite poem of hers that she has read at our events, and share extreme gratitude for having written this. So this is Write My Name by Zeina Azzam. Write my name on my leg, mama. Use the black permanent marker with the ink that doesn't bleed. If it gets wet, the one that doesn't melt. If it's exposed to heat. Write my name on my leg, mama. Make the lines thick and clear and add your special flourishes so I can take comfort in seeing my mama's handwriting when I go to sleep. Write my name on my leg, mama, and on the legs of my sisters and brothers. This way we will belong together. This way we will be known as your children. Write my name on my leg, mama, and please write your name and Baba's name on your legs too, so we will be remembered as a family. Write my name on my leg, mama. Don't add any numbers, like when I was born or the address of our home. I don't want the world to list me as a number. I have a name, and I am not a number. Write my name on my leg, mama. When the bomb hits our house, when the walls crush our skulls and bones, our legs will tell our story, how there was nowhere for us to run.
Hello. Zeina has been such a hardworking poet. She was everywhere. In city events and celebrations, she never did say no. She worked with our students in the classrooms, in the parks, absolutely everywhere. Zeina is an educator. Zeina is a nationally recognized poet. Her poems have gone viral, and they've been translated into many, many languages. Zeina is also an internationally known poet. She's been invited to the United Nations. She's spoken and delivered her poetry there. Zeina is also and has been mentoring students in Gaza during an ongoing genocide. And I know it's been heartbreaking for her when these students have called her and they're starving under the bombs, homes are destroyed. She's worked with them, tried to comfort them and let them know they are not alone. We care about them. This very, very busy woman took the time to make me homemade soup when I was sick. So I want to say, Zeina, thank you for everything you've done for our community, and thank the soup again.
So I didn't write anything down. I'm Jonathan. I'm with Grassroots Alexandria. And I met Zeina at, as far as I know, the very first meeting of Grassroots Alexandria. So she's a founding member of that organization. And she's still there at the meetings. She's still doing the work. And in this organization, we've worked with many other organizations and come together with many other different types of people to work on many different types of things. And one of the first of those meetings was with Tenants and Workers United, a representative of which is here. Ingrid Moran is there. Yeah, wave. And that was the beginning of this a very productive relationship, but also of a habit of coming together with other people in coalition to work on projects and make things happen. And we did that well. It was beautiful and joyous work. And I thank you for all of that.
Hello, my name is John. I'm one of Zeina's poetry workshop groupies. I come all the way from Brightwood, which is close to Silver Spring. I wrote these 3 little poems, some haiku-ish, right before I came. And then I wrote the last one while you were reading, so. These are all, I guess, representative of what I and maybe many of us who come to your workshops get from you and inspire in us. Tea under 4 posts and a breezy cloth, desert rest stop. Each stitch in her dress told 1,000 stories. We huddled closer. Filled with grace, the space opened wide. Poetry with Zeina Azzam. And the last one, you could clap. I mean, if it's that good, clap for Zeina. And the last one, while you're reading about Dr. King, jazz, social justice, this is the one I wrote. Staccato calls to adagio action, unleashed, unslow, unending. Thank you, Zeina.
Dear Zeina, it's the eve of Passover, and I'm speaking to you as a Jewish elder for Passover, and a Jewish elder for Palestine, and especially a Jewish elder for Palestine. One of my mentors, Bernice Johnson Regan, wrote, "As long as I have breath in my body." And so as long as I have breath in my body, I'm going to be a Jewish elder for Palestine standing with you. I just wanted to add a couple of other stories. I came to Alexandria during COVID, and I was standing on my balcony Zooming with my friends in Ramallah. And I showed them where I was off of my balcony. And they said, "Oh, we know right where you are. You have a great next door neighbor. Her name is Zeina Azzam, and she walks too." And so we began walking during COVID. And I want to thank you for a number of things. Zeina doesn't only mentor students, she also mentors people like me who are writing and need someone to read their writing. I don't know how you find the time. to do all of that. So I thank you for everything you've given to the city, and I will always be a Jewish elder for Palestine with you.
My name is John Hassey. I'm a 40-year resident of Alexandria, and I've never been prouder than today to be a resident. This poem I chose because it reminds me so much of Zeina's essence. It's a poem my mother wrote 55 years ago. It's called On Being Kinder. The poem begins with a epigram from Aldous Huxley, who said, quote, "It is a little embarrassing that after 45 years of research and study, the best advice I can give to other people is to be a little kinder to each other." How is it, as briefly the luminous hours come and go, and the executioner stands always at the ready, beyond or within this room, that we can quarrel and not ease each other's hurts and stumblings? Face to face against unchosen obliteration, we choose not to show our eyes and heart's delight. Within the bonds of love and pity, within our allotted time, shall we not, rejoicing, be a little kinder to each other?
I was just sitting there just weeping and weeping as you were reading your poetry. I'm not part of this circle. My only connection to to Alexandria is Alfred Street Baptist Church. And I'm a friend of Amy's. She brought me here today. And I just want to thank you for your compassion. And as your brother indicated, we all know this is such a horrific, hard time. And I found myself just really struggling with the lack of compassion coming from the Oval Office and other places. And it's just so important for me to say thank you, and thank you for letting your compassion shine. Because I can't really articulate why I was weeping, because there's so much. But one thing is that I want to say is thank you for seeing my people. When you read the poem, the contraband poem, and of course I've been there, but it was just overwhelming. And to be in a world where right now, not a world, the United States, where right now they don't want to acknowledge the history of African Americans in this country, or the history of anyone really, but in particular, that it means so much. So I hope you continue to let your compassion shine, and I just want to thank you so much.
Sorry, everyone. I know we're all really hungry and want to get some food in the back, but I feel like I had to come up here and say something. I'm Mark. I'm Zeina's son, for those of you who haven't met me. I'm sorry, you're going to hear me say this joke for the 100th time today, but I don't know if many of you know, she retired like a month before becoming Poet Laureate, so I say all the time, she's the only person that can retire and become more busy because of all the community activism she does too. I'm not as talented as my mom, but from a young age, she always left such a strong impression on the arts for my sister and I. Whether that was music with the Beatles, the Beach Boys, all the good ones. Jazz was a huge one. I'm sure everyone here knows that my sister is a professional jazz musician, like such an impression. On that, yeah, she's fantastic. Shameless plug. Thank you for having me learn piano as my first instrument, because that allows me to figure out any other instrument because I could actually see the keys, so I truly appreciate that. Look around for everyone here. Like, we have so many people from different walks of life that are here for her, and a lot of people who still come up to me and say, I remember you when you were this tall. And some of you I've never met before, which I'm excited to chat with you later today. I always say to people that one of my favorite days of my life, my favorite day of my life was the day that I got married, because I'm saying that because my wife is here. But the day that I got, not just because of that, I promise, it actually is. But because all the people that I care about in my life were there in a single room together, and because of all these different events, you get that so often, like all these people that came here to support you. It's such a beautiful thing. And just so proud of you for all of your different accomplishments. And I feel like I'm more proud of you for your accomplishments than my own. Like when you graduated from Georgetown, I came to your graduation instead of my own because I cared much more about you graduating than I gave a crap about walking along the line there. So, and you doing this role over the past few years has given me so much confidence in my personal and professional life because, as you know, I talk in front of people 6 months of the year, and you give me a lot of confidence to be able to do that. So she's not only my mother, she's probably my best friend. I talk to you every single day, try to give you a call every single time. So love you, and I can't wait to see what comes next for you.
So thank you all. I think as we've indicated, it's probably time to think about some food in the back. And so if you'd like to join us in a reception, Zeina, thank you for everything you've done for our city and for each other.